Example 4. Write without negative exponents. Okay, so first example, a to the power of negative 3 times b to the power of 2 divided by c to the power of negative 1. So in this exercise I'm going to invoke the formula a to the power of negative n equals 1 over a to the power of n, and I'm going to do it repeatedly. So first let me use it to simplify this first factor, a to the power of negative 3. If you have a to the power of negative 3, then n is 3, and this should be 1 over a to the power of 3. So I replace it by 1 over a to the power of 3, like that, times b to the power of 2 divided by, and here c to the power of negative 1. Well, actually the base c corresponds to the base a in this law, and negative 1 corresponds to negative n. So it should be just 1 over c. Okay? Now, if you have to divide this numerator by this denominator, it's the same as multiplying the numerator 1 over a to the power of 3 times b to the power of 2, this is the numerator, and you have to multiply it by the reciprocal of the denominator. So since the denominator is just 1 over c, its reciprocal is c. So you just multiply this by c, and therefore you end up with the following. It's b squared times c divided by a to the power of 3, and this should satisfy the requirements of the problem statement, because it asked us to write without negative exponents, and this is really what we did. There are no negative exponents in this answer, and hopefully this one should be correct, b squared c over a to the power of 3. Okay, now let me do the following one, part b. So we have a to the power of 3 times b to the power of negative 1 divided by c to the power of negative 2. Okay, so again, let us invoke this law if necessary. It's a to the power of 3. Now b to the power of negative 1, well, a corresponds to b and 1 corresponds to n, so it should be 1 over b divided by, and again you have c to the power of negative 2, which, if you compare these two, c corresponds to a and negative 2 corresponds to negative n, so n is 2, and therefore it has to be 1 over c squared, like that. Now we can divide this by this using the method showed before. You just multiply the numerator, a to the power of 3 times 1 over b, you multiply it by the reciprocal of the denominator, and since the denominator is 1 over c squared, its reciprocal has to be c squared. It's just you multiply by c squared, and what you end up with here is a to the power of 3 times c to the power of 2 divided by b, and that's it.